Don't be too quick to share your struggles with everyone you meet. Most people honestly don't care, and some will even feel satisfied seeing you go through tough times. Instead of desperately searching for good qualities in every person, learn to recognize and appreciate those who are already genuinely good. You have to make choices that are right for you, because no one else is walking through life in your shoes. The more grateful you are, the more reasons you'll find to be grateful for. One rough day does not equal a ruined life. Never let a few bad hours convince you that everything is hopeless. Every moment you waste comparing yourself to someone else is a moment stolen from your own life. You could lay yourself down like a doormat for people to walk on, and they would still complain that you're not flat enough. When reflecting on life, remember this truth. Guilt will never rewrite the past, and worry will never create the future. Every person who crosses your path is a teacher in disguise. Some will show you what love, kindness, and support look like. Others will teach you what betrayal feels like or warn you about behaviors to avoid. You'll see people's true colors once they no longer have anything to gain from you. Don't get married simply because society makes you feel like it's required. Your time on this earth is shorter than you think. Tell the people you love that you love them, and say it often. If you've never doubted a choice or wondered if you did the right thing, it probably means you haven't taken risks that truly mattered. Not everyone who says they're with you is really on your side. Don't put faith in words, watch actions instead. No matter how much you love someone, you can't force them to love you back. Be careful with your words. Once they leave your mouth, they can be forgiven but never erased. And never allow the cruelty or mistakes of others to convince you that something is wrong with who you are. Don't ever lower your own value just because someone else failed to recognize it. Their inability to see your worth does not erase it. Always remember who you are, even when others don't. If you keep trading what you truly want most in life for short-term pleasures or quick fixes, you'll only set yourself up for regret and disappointment later. Being single and at peace is far better than staying in a relationship that drains your spirit and fills your days with misery. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say no and silence the guilt that follows. Very often, the path that feels hardest is the exact path that is right. What you choose to do today has the potential to shape and improve every tomorrow that comes. Life has a way of repeating the same lessons until we finally learn them. You won't be punished for feeling anger, but you will be punished by holding on to it. And sometimes, being right doesn't matter as much as you think. The people you spend your time with will quietly shape your future in ways you can't always see. There won't always be a clear right decision. In those moments, the best thing you can do is make a choice, commit to it, and then work hard to turn it into the right one. One of the greatest mistakes in life is living in constant fear of making mistakes at all. Learn how to be content on your own. If your happiness depends entirely on the presence of someone else, it will make you weaker in the long run. You are not here to live up to the expectations others put on your shoulders, and not every thought in your head needs to be spoken aloud. Sometimes silence is strength. In life, there are events we wish would never happen but must accept, truths we'd rather not know but must learn, and people we deeply love yet eventually must let go. No matter how many lessons someone tries to teach you, real understanding only comes when you've lived through it yourself. And here's the beauty. At any moment, you can choose to begin again. You can decide to restart, to rewrite your path, and to step into a new version of yourself. Become the person you truly want to be. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today, right now. Often the ones who demand the most from you are the same people who give the least in return. Guard these three things with everything you have: your family, your heart, and your dignity. Never sacrifice them for anyone or anything. Keep your eyes on where you're headed, not where you've been. The past is only a reference, not your destination. And sometimes, it's not that people have changed, it's just that the mask they wore finally slipped away. Show respect even to those who may not deserve it. Doing so doesn't define their character, it defines yours. When you can't seem to solve a problem no matter what you do, it's possible it isn't a problem at all, but a truth you need to accept. Life has a way of sending the same lessons over and over until you've learned them deeply enough to move forward. Never make permanent choices based on temporary feelings. A wave of anger or sadness can trick you into decisions you'll regret later. Sometimes the wisest choice is to cut ties no matter how painful it feels. Some people simply aren't worth the effort it takes to keep them close. If you want to know someone's true character, Don't just study their actions. Pay close attention to their reactions. It's much harder to fake a genuine reaction than a rehearsed action. Remember, the way others treat you reveals who they are, not who you are. Your mistakes are not signs of failure. They are proof you are trying, growing, and learning. But know this, love by itself is not enough to build a lasting, healthy relationship. Communication, honesty, and the courage to face difficult conversations matter just as much, if not more. Every situation, every setback, every joy, every pain, they are all teachers. Life never stops teaching, but it's up to you to stay open and willing to learn. The true measure of a person is revealed not when life is easy, but in how they carry themselves through hardship. If you place someone too high on a pedestal, don't be surprised when they look down on you. Each wound you endure strengthens you. Each betrayal sharpens your wisdom and resilience. Every setback has the power to make you sharper, more resourceful, and wiser than before. Disappointments can shape intelligence, failures can grow skill, and every experience adds another layer of wisdom. Marriage magnifies whatever already exists in a relationship. Both the beautiful and the difficult parts become stronger. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. Nothing in your life will change for the better unless you take the step to change it yourself. Conversations that feel uncomfortable are often hidden blessings because they lead to truth and growth. Let go when life pushes you to, and allow the pain to mold you into someone stronger. No matter how heavy your heart feels, hold your head high and keep moving forward. Sometimes not getting what you thought you wanted is actually the greatest gift life could give you. The more you learn to genuinely like and accept yourself, the less you will rely on the approval of others. And just because you are trustworthy with other people's secrets doesn't guarantee that they will be as loyal with yours. Often, what we need is not a change of scenery, but a change of mindset. You can do everything right, make no obvious mistakes, and still lose. And that is not weakness. That is simply how life works. Inner peace begins the very moment you decide that no one else has the power to control your emotions. Whoever has the ability to make you angry holds power over you. Don't hand them that control. Progress and achievement never come without sacrifice. The level of success a person reaches is directly connected to what they are willing to give up in the process. We rise higher when we release fear. A determined man will always find a path. One without true desire will always find excuses. Not everyone will like you, no matter how hard you try to earn their approval. And that's okay. Life demands that you take risks. Stepping outside your comfort zone will always feel scary, but you'll never discover your potential unless you dare to leap. Advice people give you is filtered through their own perspective, their own fears, and their own limits. The real danger for most of us isn't in aiming too high and missing the mark. It's in aiming too low and succeeding at something beneath our true potential. Set your goals high, far higher than feels comfortable. The true danger isn't in failing to reach a lofty dream, but in setting your sights too low and succeeding at something unworthy of you. Life will always mirror back what you put into it. If you want love, be the one who gives love. If you want honesty, practice truth yourself. If you crave respect, offer respect first. Whatever energy you release will eventually return to you. Never let hate, jealousy, insecurity, or anger guide your words. Pause, reflect, and measure your speech before it leaves your lips. Words once spoken cannot be pulled back. Your body is the only one you'll ever have. And while it is tough and resilient, it can only return the care, nutrition, and discipline you invest in it. Neglect it, and it will remind you of the cost. Be cautious with those who repeatedly insist they're being honest. Most often, their very emphasis reveals the opposite. And never base your self-worth on the shifting opinions of others. If something about your life makes you unhappy, it will not fix itself. You must take the responsibility to change it. You are the author of your own story. Don't hand the pen to anyone else. Live in such a way that you never have to weave lies to cover your actions. Remember that tearing someone else down doesn't elevate you in any way. Putting your needs and dreams first isn't selfish. It's survival. It's balance. It's self-respect. Light always outruns sound, which is why some people seem bright at first glance until they open their mouths. Sometimes the best choice is to let go, breathe deeply, and trust that life will unfold as it should. Faith and patience often carry you farther than control and worry. Life is always risky, and there's no way to avoid that. But the single most dangerous risk of all is doing nothing, standing still while your opportunities pass by. Remember, you are the one person you will spend every moment of your life with, so learn to love your own company. Overthinking can destroy your peace. It twists small problems into impossible ones, makes you chase meaningless questions, and magnifies fear until it overshadows reality. And as for those who speak behind your back, let them. Their whispers say more about their character than they ever could about yours. People who constantly criticize your life usually do so to avoid facing the flaws in their own. Sometimes the most painful experiences end up teaching us the exact lessons we didn't even know we needed. Learn to be genuinely happy on your own, without depending on someone else to confirm your worth or validate your existence. Carry yourself with quiet confidence, as though you've already been where you are headed. Welcome change as a natural part of life, but don't allow it to dominate or control you. Things might have turned out differently, yes, but different doesn't always mean better. Life won't necessarily grow easier or more forgiving. Instead, you will grow stronger, tougher, and more resilient. It's not the mistakes you make that shape who you are, but the way you respond and rise after making them. People will let you down, so never invest blind trust in anyone. Remember, while hard work doesn't always guarantee success, laziness almost always ensures failure. You'll never find lasting happiness if you're constantly chasing approval from others. The moment you begin to relax and stop giving power to what once controlled you, you'll discover freedom. Striving for perfection is a trap. Focus instead on progress, because progress creates real growth. Your self-worth is not up for debate. Never compromise it, and never settle for anyone or anything that diminishes it. Pay attention to what you tolerate, because every tolerance teaches people how far they can push you. You'll never feel completely certain about every choice, but it's better to make a decision and adjust later than to live paralyzed by indecision. Learn to say no without guilt. It protects your energy, your time, and your priorities. The constant chase for happiness leads only to frustration until you realize that happiness itself is not a destination, but the path you choose to walk every day. And maybe, just maybe, the reason your healing feels stuck is because you're clinging to the version of who you used to be, instead of allowing yourself to grow into who you are meant to become. The person you once were doesn't exist anymore, because a new version of you is always trying to be born. Breathe life into that future self and give them space to grow. There will always be people who fail to recognize your value. Just don't let that person be you. If you go through life convinced that you're always right, you'll stop learning. And learning is what keeps us alive and evolving. No one owes you anything. Everything worth having must be earned through effort, persistence, and commitment. Life often brings things we never wanted but must accept. Truths we'd rather not know but have to learn, and people we love deeply but eventually must release. What you truly want in life will demand consistency, patience, and discipline. Your entire world can change in a single moment. That's why it's important not to take what you have for granted. Be grateful for it, and use it for good while you can. Beware of enemies disguised as friends. Betrayal from someone close cuts deeper than open hostility. Actions, far more than words, are the truest reflections of a person's thoughts and character. Don't measure your capabilities by your lowest moments. Your hardest days don't define your potential. Only postpone until tomorrow what you'd be willing to leave unfinished if today were your last day. Struggles may feel heavy, but the tougher life becomes, the quicker it can push you toward your goals. If you let it strengthen you instead of break you, excuses won't repair your problems. Take ownership of your choices, accept that mistakes are part of the journey, and focus on the lessons instead of the regrets. Surround yourself with people who expand your mind, not just your social circle. Never make decisions in the heat of anger, and never make promises in the thrill of happiness. You'll never truly understand the damage you inflict on someone until you've felt the same pain yourself. And above all, be cautious about who you let into your life. Some people will drain your energy, take what they can, and then leave while blaming you for their absence. Maturity isn't about revenge, it's about restraint. True maturity shows when you have the ability to destroy someone who hurt you, but instead you choose to breathe deeply, walk away, and let life or karma handle the rest. At the end of the day, the only person you truly have control over is yourself. Stay humble enough to recognize that everything you have can be lost in an instant. Yet remain confident in the knowledge that with persistence, you can rebuild and reclaim it all. Progress doesn't always mean dramatic leaps forward. Every single attempt you make, every effort you give, is progress. Invest your energy so fully in improving yourself that you have no time or desire to tear others down. Wise people eventually stop overthinking, because they realize that the best decisions often require a balance of intuition and logic. Sometimes your gut knows what your head can't explain. Everything begins and ends in your mind. Whatever you give power to will gain influence over your life, so work on mastering your thoughts instead of letting them master you. Excuses are always easy to find, they're everywhere. But finding a way forward, even when it's hard, requires real courage. Life doesn't pause for you to be ready. Be smart enough to recognize that opportunities won't wait for you to feel okay. Never allow someone to treat you badly under the excuse of love. Your care for them should never come at the cost of your self-respect. Every lie you tell plants a seed that will grow into a problem you'll eventually be forced to face. Do the right thing now. Even if it's difficult, it will save you from bigger troubles later. When you truly believe in yourself, you don't feel the need to convince others of your worth. Learn to miss people without needing them back in your life. Growth often requires acceptance that some people can stay in your heart, but not in your daily reality. If life were always easy, you'd never develop strength, patience, or wisdom. The only way to feel genuinely good about yourself is to engage in actions that you can be proud of. And one of the quickest ways to destroy long-term happiness is to continually sacrifice it for the sake of short-term pleasures. Don't be afraid to set boundaries in your relationships. If someone leaves because of them, it simply means you're better off without that person. Life becomes much lighter when you learn to accept the apology you never received. The first step to moving forward is deciding you won't remain stuck where you are. Remember, slow success builds character, while fast success often builds ego. If you don't create distance between yourself and your distractions, those distractions will eventually create distance between you and your goals. Following the crowd guarantees you'll get the same average results as everyone else. Don't lose yourself by tolerating too much from the people you're desperate to keep. Instead, place your energy on creating the life you truly want, not just distracting yourself from the one you already have. When your intentions are genuine, you never really lose anyone. Others lose you. And once you truly know yourself, you stop fearing that you're missing out on things that were never meant for you in the first place. The fastest way to destroy your own self-confidence is by constantly breaking the promises you make to yourself. Stop cheating on your future with your past. Real growth happens in proportion to the amount of truth about yourself you're willing to face without running away. Failure is always temporary if you keep trying. But when you constantly blame others for your problems, you hand them power over your life. You give them the authority to dictate your happiness and peace of mind. Trusting blindly often leads to betrayal, so the only person you truly need to understand is yourself. Life improves the moment you stop assuming you'll always have more time later. Be proactive. Each day should move you a step forward. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to forget is the happiest. No single thing will magically solve all your problems. No goal, no achievement, no relationship, no person. Nothing outside yourself can fix you. Show respect even to those who don't deserve it. Not because of who they are, but because of who you are. Winning isn't everything. But you always come out ahead if you know you gave your very best. You set your own standards. Find your why. It's the foundation of your goals and the fuel for your actions. Your why is the personal reason that drives you when things get difficult. Taking full responsibility for your problems may feel heavy at first, but it eliminates far more suffering than it creates. Be yourself and speak your truth. Those who matter will accept you, and those who don't accept you don't matter. When you talk, you only repeat what you already know. When you listen, you gain something new. Never date someone you wouldn't also choose as a friend. The more you can learn from others' mistakes instead of making them all yourself, the easier your journey will be. Healing requires courage. It means honestly examining the role you've played in your own suffering. Challenge yourself. It's the only road to growth. If you ignore red flags because you only want to see the good in people, it will cost you later. Peace doesn't mean being in a place with no noise, no trouble, or no hard work. Real peace is found in the middle of chaos when your heart remains calm. Peace isn't about living in a place with no noise, no struggles, or no hard work. It's about being in the middle of all those things and still staying calm in your heart. Avoid people who use their pain as an excuse to hurt others. Don't overshare. Most people don't care, and some secretly hope you fail. When you react impulsively, you give away your power. Perfectionism is a disease. Procrastination is a disease. Action is the cure. Go where you are appreciated, not where you are merely tolerated. Fix your body before you fix anything else. A weak body often reflects a weakened mind, a lack of discipline, poor choices, and neglected willpower. Strengthening yourself physically will also strengthen your spirit. Some disconnections will turn out to be blessings. True success doesn't come from chasing validation. It comes from seizing opportunities, proving what you're capable of, and achieving your goals despite challenges. When you meet someone smarter than you, collaborate with them. Don't be intimidated. Never expect others to give back the way you give. Not everyone has a heart like yours. Your mental state shapes your experience of life. Prioritize your mental health as much as your physical health. Challenge your mind, feed it positive self-talk, and grow stronger. Life feels hard when we fail to appreciate the things that come easily. Don't let loneliness push you into temporary choices with permanent consequences. Once you find the right direction in life, you stop being easily offended or angry because you realize you have much better things to focus on. Your growth depends on your willingness to keep learning, even when it feels repetitive or boring. Protect your personal life. Keeping certain things to yourself, even when you have plenty to say, is one of the highest forms of self-care. Find a relationship where simply being yourself makes the other person happy. One of the most dangerous habits is comparing your life to someone else's. This isn't a race. It's your own journey. Don't quit after the first setback. Failure is not the end. It's just a detour on the road to success. Just because you don't see the reason behind a difficult season doesn't mean there isn't one. When you believe, your mind finds a way to make it happen. Play the long game. Patience is the ultimate competitive advantage in life. Your future needs you, your past doesn't. Being true to yourself may sometimes feel lonely, but it's always worth it. Don't be shocked when people try to pull you down out of jealousy. It's normal. Change can be scary, but nothing is scarier than staying the same forever. The truth is, everyone will hurt you at some point. You just have to choose the ones who are worth suffering for. A day without problems is a sign you might be walking the wrong path. The magic you're searching for is hidden in the very work you keep avoiding. Discipline yourself. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Reward your efforts so you can trust your own word and stay motivated. Our lives are defined by life rewards those who notice opportunities, even the ones they almost missed. When you build quietly and steadily, nobody knows where to strike. Pain only leaves you once it has taught you its lesson. Some truths must be learned more than once. Staying composed under pressure matters. Being calm and collected in chaos doesn't mean you bury your feelings. It means you don't let them run the show. The more you cling to what's behind you, the less room you'll leave for anything brighter ahead. The real failure is not trying. The real rejection is not asking. The real mistake is not taking a risk. If you can't say no when you mean it, then your yes loses value. People will cheer for your success, but often only as much as it benefits them. Stop overvaluing others and underestimating yourself. When you blame someone else for your troubles, you hand them the power to control your life. Yet life has a way of resolving itself, even when the odds look impossible. Don't trade away who you could become for who you are right now. You don't owe anyone proof of your worth, not even yourself. Luck favors hard work. Good things rarely find the person who only waits. Don't make one person the whole center of your happiness. If they leave, you'll be left empty-handed. When you feel like quitting, remember the reasons you kept going in the first place. Never put relationships above your goals. Sacrificing your purpose for someone else can cost you everything. Instead, build a life where the people you love add to your joy rather than define it. You can fall in love more than once in your lifetime, and when someone you care deeply about walks away, it's usually not the end of the world. It's often a hidden blessing. Most of the time, their absence makes room for something better. Life forces us to make tough, practical choices. what we truly want, what we're willing to sacrifice, and what we refuse to compromise on. If you don't make those choices yourself, life will eventually make them for you. Real change happens when you step outside of your comfort zone and challenge the patterns you've been repeating. Failure isn't the end. It's a guidepost, pointing you away from what doesn't work and nudging you toward what does. Sometimes the hardest decisions, the ones that feel heavy and painful, are actually the right ones. And no matter how kind, patient, or genuine you are, some people will still dislike you without reason. Don't waste your time trying to win them over. Later often turns into never. So stop postponing what matters. Hard times aren't just obstacles, they're reminders of the blessings you've overlooked. Never chase pity or try to earn sympathy. The people who truly care will show up when it matters most, without being asked to. You don't need to perform for their approval. You can't force someone to love you by endlessly giving them more of what they've already failed to appreciate. Sometimes the only way forward is to endure the pain quietly, accept it, and let it make you stronger. Money doesn't guarantee happiness, but struggling without enough of it can bring real hardship. Running away from problems only gives them power. Facing them directly is how you grow. Regret will chain you down for a lifetime if you don't learn how to forgive yourself and others. Comparing yourself to someone else is a waste of your most valuable resource, your time. And remember, when kindness goes unchecked, people will take advantage of it. Protect your heart without closing it. Most problems are rarely as catastrophic as our minds make them out to be. Perspective can turn mountains into molehills. Sometimes problems are exactly as heavy as we imagine them to be, because our thoughts shape how deeply they cut. Ironically, it's often the obsession with finding happiness that keeps it out of reach. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a byproduct of how you live each day. Start treating yourself with the same care and responsibility you would offer to someone you love and feel accountable for. In your 20s, many relationships will break apart. That doesn't mean you're doomed. It means those experiences are stepping stones, practice rounds preparing you for the real commitments ahead. Don't burden yourself with stress. See these connections for what they are: lessons in love, growth, and self-discovery. Your friends and family may love you deeply, but that doesn't mean they always know what's best for you. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is to see yourself as powerless. Don't allow anyone to mistreat you just because you care about them. Part of maturing is learning when to stay quiet and when to speak up. It takes time to master this balance, but once you do, life becomes far smoother. You must take risks, even when they scare you. Comfort zones feel safe, but they never allow you to see what you're truly capable of. The truth is, there is no big secret to life. Whatever your dream may be, you can get there if you're willing to put in the work. But if you don't make yourself valuable, your place in any environment, whether in a career or a relationship, won't last long. Never rely completely on another person for your happiness or stability. Learn to stand on your own 2 feet, financially, emotionally, and physically. Independence is one of the strongest shields you can build for yourself. A wise man can gain more knowledge from the challenges his enemies bring than a fool can ever learn from his closest allies. Too often we walk away from our dreams, not because we lack the ability, but because we're afraid of failing, or even more frightening, afraid of succeeding. You cannot expect the world to always treat you with kindness, just as you cannot stretch yourself to please everyone around you. Both are impossible standards. What matters most is how you show up for yourself in the process. It's often during the hardest seasons of life that people reveal who they really are. Those who claim to care for you will either prove it or show their true colors. If you never take the time to heal from your wounds, you'll end up bleeding on people who never hurt you in the first place. Trust should be given carefully, and expectations kept light. Never cling to toxic friendships simply because of shared history. Longevity doesn't equal loyalty. Sometimes the very wounds that break us open are the same ones that lead us to the most beautiful and authentic parts of ourselves. The truth is, most people only want to hear about your victories, not your struggles. That's why it can be difficult to find someone safe to confide in. Numbing your pain may feel easier in the short term, but when the emotions finally surface, they return stronger than ever. Life is filled with defining moments, and when they arrive, you have a choice. You can rise to meet them, or let them define you. Guard yourself against narcissists. They don't follow fair rules. They'll drain you slowly, leaving nothing but exhaustion behind. One of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to choose your thoughts with the same intention you use to choose your clothes. This is where your real power lies. If you're desperate to control life, start with your mind. It's the only thing you truly have influence over. No matter how much good you do for others, people often remember your mistakes more than your kindness. Every circumstance in life is like a question, and your response is the answer. The goal is not perfection, it's growth. Striving to appear flawless only keeps you from becoming better. There is no greater regret than prioritizing people who never put you first. It leaves you drained and bitter. That's why you must decide where you want to go in life. Direction is everything. If you wander aimlessly, you won't move forward. You'll only end up disappointed. Dreams without goals will always remain just that, dreams. If you ever feel like you're barely hanging on, it's usually a sign to let go. You shouldn't be gripping so tightly to something that makes you feel anxious, unhappy, and hard to live with in the first place. The truth is, the bad things in life rarely impact us as deeply as we imagine they will. But the same is true for the good things. We adapt to both faster than we realize. Never ignore contempt. When someone treats you as if you're beneath them, it's more than just disrespect. It's a warning. Such people often bring harm, whether emotionally, socially, or even physically. Protect yourself and remove them from your life. Even a happy life must contain moments of darkness. Without sadness, happiness itself would lose its meaning. You cannot be truly happy with someone else until you first learn to be happy with yourself. Don't be afraid of living. Believe that life is worth it, and your belief will help make it true. Holding grudges won't harm the people you dislike. It will only poison you. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. The value of a moment is often invisible until it turns into a memory. Suffering begins to lose its power the moment you examine it clearly and see it for what it really is. People's actions always tell you the truth about who they are. Their words may not. Real growth happens when you stop blaming others and start correcting yourself. That's when you reclaim your power, by taking responsibility for your own life. And if you can't understand why someone is doing something, look not at their excuses, but at the consequences of their actions. Watch people's actions, whatever they may be, and judge their intentions by the consequences that follow. The greatest risk you can ever take is refusing to take any risk at all. In a world that changes faster every day, the only strategy guaranteed to fail is playing it safe and standing still. Tomorrow never actually arrives because it is always today.